Good to see you. On to the next one. So I just lived through meetings sometimes.
That doesn't surprise me.
I wish it surprised me.
No. Just like a long time ago.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
Whether that's acceptable.
Which sucks. I think that's how you should bring that up.
That's what you're talking to our manager of technology, Jeff.
I know.
My brain is
Not as many as the last five.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order here at 6 o'clock. There's a request to have under staff reports to go ahead and move item 5.2 in front of item 5.1. The technology manager Jeff needs to try to get out here a little earlier today.
I'll move to adopt the agenda with that change.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay. We'll move to the approval of the minutes for the July 1st board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Okay. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, we can move to 4.0, community dialogue. Is there anyone else to speak?
Really signed up.
All right. Okay, we'll jump down to staff reports. So we'll go to the manager of technology, Jeff.
Good evening. So, last time we met, we were talking about a new system going in called Epic. And someone asked, I don't remember, if it was going to get in before school started. Oh, that's going to start Friday. It's mostly there. In fact, we brought it online for the middle school last night about 11 o'clock. So, this building is mostly done. A couple things that are left, integrating with our phone system, which is kind of lower priority, and then bigger priority is integrating with card access. As if you recall, Epic generates or has the ability to generate emergency messages. And you can generate lockdown from Epic. And we want card access and Epic to communicate. So if a lockdown occurs card access, it notifies Epic to play the messages, and then if it's generated within Epic, then we want it to communicate with card access to the doors we want. Does that make sense? Yes, card access. So our box cards or fobs, that's part of card access. So, let's see, a big step prior to that was getting our network infrastructure ready. I mentioned that we're going to be putting in new network switches to support Epic and actually it was something we had planned even before we knew about Epic. It was just something that needed to be done. And those were purchased with our E-rate discount. That's from the federal government. So we were able to purchase nearly $200,000 worth of network equipment for half of that. So that was a pretty good deal. And can you hear me okay? I could turn volume up if I need to, but this is demonstrating part of that. So the other idea with Epic is that it improves classroom audio for students, and it spares the teacher's voice. You don't have to really project loudly. Any questions so far? Okay, just a quick 4-slide show, and I resisted the temptation of putting in pictures of my beautiful grandchildren, but number 17 is coming next month, so. Where else? What's that? Yes, it is. It's not enough. Okay, this is a before shot. We don't need the music. That's another before shot. So when we replace the switches, we also replace cabling attaching to those, and that was so important for, as it turned out, for Epic. Okay, let's stop this. Oh, we can shut that off. There we go. Okay. Yeah. There. So, we did have some things we had to adjust for. That, we planned ahead of time. We missed a step, and it came down to that physical layer where we had to trace out some things. And if you can imagine how difficult it would have been trying to trace through with a lot of cabling. So this makes it way easier. And last thing, but regarding this project and other initiatives that we've started, I didn't get the privilege of telling you about it, but the team is more than just 3 of us in IT. Without the backing of Jennifer and Dennis and Sue and the rest of you, none of this would happen. So it's very much appreciated. The team appreciates it. They're excited about the positive changes. Last word, we mentioned a meeting or two ago about what network segmentation is and how it improves network security, and we started that. So the Smart Lab at the middle school was our first full area that's completely VLAN. It's isolated from the rest of the network. And the second was Epic. So since it was a fresh start, we were able to VLAN that. And then this VLANing path for the rest of the network is a long process, but we've got the foundation right now. Okay, any questions? What's VLAN? VLAN is virtual LAN, local area network, and if you remember the illustration I had, if you think of a water pipe is what we have now, with every bit of information flowing through the same pipe. We can virtualize separate networks within that same physical infrastructure, and that's how we separate out, like I could just mention Smart Lab from the rest of the traffic, so it's like inserting another tube into that pipe. And now that's traffic for smart grid. Does that help? Okay. All right. I already got ribbing from some people about getting technical. I guess that was from Go ahead.
Thank you for all the hours you've been putting in.
Yes,
I know you've been doing a lot.
That's really nice, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the Director of Operations, Dennis Zavada.
Hello, everybody. I love a mic.
You could just let it, here you go.
Good evening. You have the privilege of starting my third year here as Director of Operations Safety and Security. So, welcome. Nice to meet you guys. I'll keep it as brief as I can, but there's a lot of stuff happening. And as you just heard, what I can tell you is I think this move, this choice of what you guys helped accomplish, this PA Epic system, is really, I can't even tell you, springboards us into the future, but into a different level of communication in York and Colorado. Without a doubt, we are the only school that has this relying knowledge in this area here. A lot of the other schools have a maintenance system a little bit lower and not as user-friendly, and have a lot of limitations. So this is just, it's going to be dynamic for us, and I think you guys have done a good job, leadership's done a good job about investing in something that's going to last and be able to accomplish more things as things evolve. So thank you. As you know, I may have mentioned we did radio programming, which means a little bit more channels and a little bit more radios because we're getting busier with a lot of different activities, a lot more playground monitors, which is amazing. I've seen that from one very team they've established in elementary school. Training them up and doing that has been a real success so far. We appreciate that. So we need more radios. That communication with you guys, especially in university or critical interest stuff, is very important. Also, good surveillance camera evaluations done this summer. There's a lot of technology out there. I don't know all the stuff, but the contractor we're working with, just for right now, evaluating that, and kind of seeing, doing a multi-step yearly plan to get a tie on that. We also did parking lot safety changes. We may have noticed, mostly for after-school pickup. And that's because what we noticed over the years, we want to prevent students from being in a position where a car, whether it be low speed or a lot distracted driving wheels out there, we really want to protect the kids as much as we can. So we really made an attempt to say, hey, let's pick up in safe areas. Let's use the sidewalks, pathways that they're intended for. We really try to send more awareness to the parents and students, kind of coach them outside as we have drop off, and just be all around a safer environment in that parking lot. Because as you know, who's been in that parking lot, everybody, pretty congested, pretty fast. Also, we are looking into the future about that as well. As we go on, we're assessing whether or not to go with some type of better system for pickup in the elementary school area. And that's more of a driven by a software system that's used. We've been a part of that where it's a system, notification, kids are in class, very methodical, very safe, and easier to manage. So we're looking into that in the near future. We did, of course, all the door testing as best we could. As you guys know, we went through a lot more changes on that a year or so ago. And that's proven, we've improved on our lockdown ability even more so. It's performing as we thought it would. Obviously, there's, with any electric stuff or tech stuff, you always got to keep working at that. Security team, armed security, to be the annual alert training with the police department and our District 6 partners. That was a big success because obviously we work a lot with school resource officers. So we got to train with them and do some scenarios, and so it's always very helpful. And then we have an upcoming, if you hear your students talk about where's my space to go in the feedback drill or fire drill, it's coming. Hopefully it won't be too hot. They're very good at that. Moving on to operations, as you guys know, Jennifer mentioned, I think last week, a lot of movements, a lot of office moves. Took a tour. It's even getting better now. We've had another month or so to finish things. So that's working out real good. And then, if you haven't been in the band room, we did some more sound panel improvements. It's actually, a difference as well. So always continue to try to have that area better always. And then, if you saw the parking lot, did the opening, I hope you noticed, very real quick, but it's there. So let's try to park between the lines. So some people around here, gotta take up 2.5 spaces. We won't hold that picture. We're doing new kitchen design equipment. In the kitchen here, equipment's very old. Getting that going, and that's soon to be installed here in at least the next month, which will provide easier, better quality food choices for students and better service. And then it prepares us for the next phase to be able to deliver more food to more students in the time of day. And to go along with that, we are doing what's called a Polar King. It's like a cake, freezer, cooler, dry storage. We gave room for that, but also the kitchen. So that's coming along real good. So you'll see that eventually. And then, you ever heard of a vending machine that can serve lunch? We've got one coming in high school. That's a goal of ours, obviously, to make sure our kids can always have somewhere to go and get it. Especially right now, the district's partnership with preschool lunches. It takes their student member, drops that lunch and drops it to them once a day. So they go to that vending machine as well. And other schools in our District 6 are using that and have good things to say about it. So we really appreciate our D6 partners, especially the kitchen staff here, and back at the administrative building. Without their help, we wouldn't be where we're at, and we're always looking to support one another in this endeavor to make our students experience the ability to eat quality foods, so y'all won't have to go all the way somewhere else. And I really say that because the person I work with was used to be a chef for a while, at D6, and he's one of those food, was it farm to, coming up, farm to table. There you go, something like that. And then, if you haven't noticed, auditorium, there's some good touch-up painting there that was needed. And I want to sit on the thunder right now, so new carpet install coming this weekend. So that should really brighten that up. And then we have our current contractor actually coming on Monday. A lot, like Mr. Jeff Lemons. Jeff, what you supposed to do? Yeah. Just kidding. He wanted to. Without, I want to mention people. You see them, you mention them, you talk to them. But this leadership team, IT team, Jared Craig, Taylor Cox, facilities team, always doing something. We're always there for support for the students and the staff, no matter what. The security team, we can't say enough. Just the administrative assistants in both buildings. There's so much that goes on a daily basis. And I think it's really cool to get a unified, strong bulldog, no matter what position you're in. You know that this community, out of this specific area, serves more than green. It's amazing how much is out there that touches university. And that's a tribute to the people before and now. So
thank you for everything, and we look forward to giving you more news next time we get to speak. Did everybody hear me okay? Yeah? Good. Love it, Mike. Questions?
Is Jeff prioritizing your network site for the VLANing process
Dennis's?
for his security?
No, actually, we've got Dennis on AOL.
They canceled as of 2 days ago.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah.
But he
That's why I
hasn't
haven't
noticed.
worked.
Well, let's put the priority over to Dennis's side for that VLAN work.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever he likes. Whatever he likes. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Mike is the
Yeah. Mike, yeah. Go to super, or Christmas update.
I think he called the office.
Being in elementary, we pretty much call the office downstairs. All right, well, elementary is off and running. Back to school tonight was a huge success. I'm not sure how many people here were a part of that. I know Rhonda's a huge part of it, and Jennifer's a huge part of it. If you were a big part of that, I really appreciate it. I know it's an amazing amount of work, but the amount of people that come away from that one night with the feelings they come away with is worth, I can say this because I didn't, worth the hours. Because I have so many people who come up to me and just tell me how amazing it is. So I want to thank those people that are part of that. Ms. Weaver, do you know, are there more people we should thank at this meeting for that who were really instrumental for the back school?
There's lots of people who helped work on it and everything, so almost all of them, she works on all some of it.
And I failed to really thank her at that back school assembly. And she was so much. Back school night was awesome because it was inside. I don't know how we do it, but we always choose the 102-degree day to have back to school night. And at the end, people were smart enough to put that inside. And I think it felt like 30,000 people inside my school. And but that was great because they were all cool. Seeing kids drag parents, 45, 50 minutes early for school event. It was touching for a principal to see all those people waiting to go meet their teacher. It's a pretty powerful scene, so definitely don't want to skip over how important that is that people in our community feel that they feel the ability they can be there so early to meet their teacher. That many of us are just finishing lunch at 4, doesn't start till 5, and there's 300 people in our building already. That's pretty amazing. Recess and lunch monitors touched on briefly. We had such a rousing success with recess that we incorporated a lot of those skills into our monitors who are working with lunch. And so we started taking monitors both inside and outside, and so we have a monitor per class. And we were able to hire enough monitors to where they're now working with a class of kiddos, so they work with them at the lunch line, they take them out to the recess. If they're having issues, they report that person. That way the teacher doesn't have to go find 6 different lunch monitors and say, or recess monitors and say what happened. That they can just go find the one person. And so far I think that's going really well as well. Testing, we have a new math curriculum called IREADY, and we piloted that last year with many teachers. That's a K through algebra curriculum, and it was, I think it speaks for itself this year when we were asked, do teachers want to do the diagnostic testing? And my initial reaction was, I'm not sure they do, because I know we have a couple literacy things coming up. And of course, I said, well, how about on Monday we go talk to a few of them? So she talked to a couple grades, and I talked to a couple grades, and we came back and met. We were amazed that every teacher we talked to was like, can we please do that diagnostic testing? So that's really cool. That's happening right now in elementary school. and high school. I bumped into one high school teacher today, and he was so excited. Mr. Chacon was so excited. He was working through all these diagnostic tests. He was doing such good stuff, and he was ready to start. So that was really neat to hear. iReady diagnostic testing is underway, and that will really help our math curriculum as we move forward. Field trips are starting up again soon, which is fun. And I'll end on, we had a little student who was a little apprehensive first couple days coming into kindergarten, and ran into that student a couple days later and said, "How you doing?" He gave me 2 of these, and I was like, 2 thumbs up. He goes, "No, 1,000. We're doing something right in the elementary. Teachers are amazing. We have amazing staff, we have amazing kids, we have amazing parents, and I'm lucky to be here. So that's it for elementary.
Any questions for Mike? Okay. Go to the superintendent update.
I don't know what else I could possibly talk about. They talked about all the things.
You gonna use your teacher voice? Or
Oh,
you use your-
sure I will. So I feel like they talked about all the things, so I will just continue the thank you tour. Dennis, Jared, and Jeff worked all summer, so many hours trying to make sure that things were updated, ready, and good to go. And I appreciate that a lot. Jeff, the last, gosh, it's been 3 weeks, I feel like now, has been here, and his team, many nights after school, and like our whole weekend, trying to work on other things, so that we can start operations in the building. So I really appreciate all of that work. And we're going to talk about construction stuff in a little bit. Jared and Dennis have a million meetings with District 6, with kitchen people, with construction, and we're going to visit this evening, which I'm really proud to appreciate all of that. Mike mentioned iReady. Joy played a huge part in that. We've had organized all the materials, came in huge pallets. She organized all the materials, set up all the trainings, make sure that the teachers had everything they needed. So she's done a great job supporting people with that. We, this year, are continuing in our Restored Practices grant. And this year we're working with 2 trainers who happen to be local. So they gave us an amazing deal. They were working with us 4 times this year for the same price they normally work 1 day at other districts. Because they were so happy with how other schools working. So I want to thank Kyle for, not this Kyle, but Kyle knows. Lots of thank this Kyle for too. Kyle's worked really hard on getting it organized and making sure that everyone coming with our staff. It's hard for such a great job at organizing that. I was going to also shout out Rhonda for the bash. She works all summer on that. I thought this year was even better. It was really nice and slow to heat. I'll take the crowds over the heat. But always there were thousands of people there. Naturally, I know we're school, but that was amazing. I've had thousands of people show up to celebrate opening the school. And I happened to walk in and overheard Dad having a conversation. I just love when we do this. It was just such a positive, like, happy way to start the year. My kids are excited to come back. He's like, I don't feel like anyone else does it that way. And I've been around a lot of schools and I've not seen too many schools that do it that way. So I appreciate everybody that helps with that. I think it's awesome how many of our groups now want to help every year. Pump and cheer and Junior Bulldogs this year. Special shout out to them, Jane and Allison, all of them who've been helping. Man, talk about going from ashes to total resurgence. They had 50, 60, 70 kids at all the camp stages all summer, and their booth was stacked at back to school night, and they had fun. The kiddos that went there, the Junior Bulldogs Palms group that did the camp, did a little presentation for us that we did at School Bash, and so that is, I know they're working on organizing teams football stuff, so I really appreciate it, because that's just another example of that's 100% parent-driven, run, and volunteer, so really, really appreciate how much they've stepped up. I love that every year now volleyball and softball show up. We even talked to them to do a mascot costume this year. That was really fun. People love taking pictures with them. But they show up to help every year. Speech and debate books every year. So I love that more and more groups are getting involved and definitely stay inside. It was really nice how many of our food groups shifted Auburn Green Free for us in the past. It's always been a purchase sort of event. And we had 6 different groups that all offered food swag and foods. That was really nice. Let's see, who else is on the list? Rachel Weigel, if you don't know, was our new teacher coach. And this has been our smallest class since I've been here. So it is awesome that we have a small group, but they still need and appreciate a lot of support and effort from a ton of them that come from other districts that they never thought they would have more support. So I appreciate what Rachel takes them on. Although I'm really having to adjust all the sounds, I know you saw all of them yet. It's really great. High school's having bells this year, still rotating through all the options, trying to find which one we like best. Every time I hear the noise, is that a fire alarm? Is someone calling the office? Oh, it's bells. So we're also getting used to them, but it's nice to have so many options with that system. Ryan and Mike are already working really hard, hiring coaches, having those back to school meetings, trying to find locker rooms and uniforms and all the things. We have, I feel like I say this every year, but it continues to be true, larger populations, more kids that are participating, which is awesome. Definitely talk all the time about one day we're going to have every kid participating in at least one thing. And we get really close and closer every year. So I appreciate how hard they're working. Clark and Tommy and Van are off to an awesome start. We were in the office and Eric even brought us the physical form. I'm like, I don't know what this is about. My kid had said they had to have this marching band and here it is. I don't know why they do this. I'm like, have you been out there? They practice longer and harder than any of our teams. They are super dedicated and already off to a great start. So that's another opportunity to get a lot of kids involved in. So that's great. I wanted to give you all a heads up that I'll be sending out schedules. We can get school visits scheduled. We should try to do that in September, October. So we'll try to get those on the books. And I just want to thank everybody. It takes, a village is an understatement. Support staff, to teachers, to parents, to administrators, to open school. Everybody did a great job. We're off to a really good start. And I think the kids are really themselves and are not a great start. So it's everybody cool. I really appreciate it.
Would you say we have like a majority of students in that program?
So I think we only officially, help me out, Jeff, if I'm wrong, I think we only officially CHSA recognize sports and extracurriculars. And I think off those numbers, it's at the end of the year, but I want to say we're at like 75%, and it's hard to tell individual kids versus multiple kids doing the same things. But I think Ryan also had to turn around both those individual kids, and it's huge. But that doesn't include all of the other extracurricular opportunities and parts that we have. I don't want to still try to build this in any way. But I do think we're participation in both. So we talk all the time that not every kid find one thing that they're into and care about. And I think that's a great thing about our school, the diversity of options. There's so many opportunities that I hope everyone finds something to care about.
It's a big group of the senior sunrise. Is it usually that large?
I don't think it usually is.
No, that's the biggest we've had. There were 110, I believe.
Oh, those are the other two groups I was going to thank. I was going to say how much I appreciated the orientation work that everybody did at the middle school, 6th grade, new people, Laura and Jeff, I think primarily at that.
They'll be angry.
Yep, and two of our teachers, Susan and Palmer, and so that was a great experience. And then I thought Stuco did an awesome job at the high school level, other than just working around outside their spot, but they didn't care. Me as a new President Hill did an awesome job, and Jim Chacon has transitioned into studio to try to leave some of the many things that Mr. Marie does around here. So we really appreciate having their community superstar team. So I appreciate both of those groups all together. It's so good start.
Any other questions? We'll go on to Sue.
Okay, I will present in June 30th financials. These are final numbers. I sent this off to, unlike this, these are final numbers. They are going to the auditors. They haven't sent to the auditors. So we'll start working, we have started working on the audit. On the general fund balance sheet, there's one error. Under the liabilities and fund balance where it says due from capital fund, that should be the bond fund. What happens in June is the interest that we get from our rent payments on our bonds accumulates interest, and at the end of June, and sometimes in the middle of the time or two, whatever is in excess of what we need for our debt service is returned to the school as interest. That usually happens in June. This year, for some reason, they didn't cut the check until July, and it's all called July stuff. So I contacted the auditor and I said, I think this needs to be approved back. He agreed with me, just because it's typical that it's in June. So that's what that 57 cents of interest will be back. The transfers out to capital fund. That is what I transferred, remaining MLO dollars, and I also transferred general fund dollars that were accumulating over multiple years. It wasn't just this year. It was for multiple years. And the reason I did that was because I knew we were doing the cafeteria and kitchen construction, and I wanted to have about $2 million available to do the construction, the furniture, the color-ing, the permits, everything. Jennifer thinks it's going to come out to about 1.6, so that is money that's just in the account right now. So, our income ended up 98%, pretty good. Our expenditures are about 95.6% of our budget. Again, pretty good. That's creating that surplus. If you'll remember, I reported in July that the state matched mill levy dollars, and we got about $195,000. And so that money was also transferred to capital over that. Capital fund, talked about the 1.2. The money that we got back from the DESC grant really helped us in capital fund this year. It looks way better than it has in years past. But of course, we know that that's going to go on construction, which is fine. It's okay. That's something we need to do. So, happy with the way it ended up. The capital fund was really strong this year, so I'm happy with that. Like I said, the auditors have started. They haven't been on site yet. They've been doing all the scanning and sending and those kinds of things to try and help them get started. The other thing I want to mention is, remember part of the way through the year last year, District 6 started taking our rent payment instead of over 12 months, it was over 9 months. It turns out the reason they're doing that is because they are getting their funding from the state over 9 months instead of over 12 months. So they're getting it front loaded for that last 3 months. When I got the spreadsheet from District 6 for July, it took our 9-month payment, but it did not give us funding for the 9 months of funding. And I questioned that. I said, am I going to get that over 12 months when you're getting it over 9? And there was a delay, and I did get a response from Mandy that they're going to look at a formula. And the reason I pushed that is because the money's going to them and they're getting interest earned on our money. And I would rather have that money come to us so that we can get interest earned on it and help us with the tuition. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but we'll have to be careful because because obviously we're gonna have more cash, and then we have to get through that last 3 months. We'll see how that turns out. That's all I have.
Any questions for Sue? Thank you, Sue. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. There is personnel.
Justin, can I ask you to add one more name on there? Jennifer Brown, is that right? It's not.
Or Jennifer Brown.
Jennifer Brown, she's in your health clerk. One of our health clerks is on leave of absence, and decided not to return. It's fine, that's why.
Long list of one coaches though.
And that with Brenda was the interim voice tennis, voice tennis at Brunswick. I think just filling in.
You guys can like this, huh? Are you asking why it's been on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chambers, who resigned right before school started, and this is in starting, and so we wanted to do a full search and many things. She was going to be an assistant coach, and so we appointed her as a this is really season. Next year, we do a full search. She's a former college coach. We're agreeing at least.
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
Who was the second? All right. Roll call.
Carol?
Yes.
PJ? Yes. Bill? Abstain? John? Yes. Scott? Yes. Justin?
Yes.
Eric? Yes. Frank? Yes. And Ryan?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move to back to school votes. So that is here.
So yeah, we're asking the board to approve a back-to-school bonus for staff. This includes all current administration, faculty, staff, and county personnel. It doesn't include our subs, our athletic coaches, or district six employees. We decided that because we did end up a little stronger than at the end of last year, that we felt that we could do a small bonus for this year. I think it's a little early, but Jennifer and I talked today about it, and if the board would approve the bonus, I think we should probably also move about $100,000 out of capital back to general. And since we do have enough with the $1.6 million construction, as opposed to $2 million construction. So that's what we're asking. Move money now, you can wait to move it, but we do need to do that also to. This is, do you have any long term subs, full-time subs will they get? So this is just the day of the second.
Yes.
Eric? Yes. Brent? Yes. Amanda?
I guess I'll abstain.
And Ryan?
A second motion?
Move that we approve the payout to the teachers of the $500 for the one FTE. Includes all current administration, faculty, staff, and hourly personnel. It does not include subs, athletic coaches, or D6 employees. Clarity is good. Clarity is good.
Eric, Brett? All right, David.
Harold. Yes. AJ. Yes. Bill. Abstain. Con.
Yes.
Scott. Yes. Dustin.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Brent. Amanda.
Abstain.
And Ryan.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, we will move on to Greg M. Pearson building, item 6.3. The letter in our packet that Ryan is going to read.
So Carol and I would like to support from the board this action that was put together by a group of amazing former teachers and staff of the school. And so I'll just read through it. It's pretty self-explanatory, but read through the letter and if we can have discussion. To the Board of Governors of University Schools, we, the undersigned, propose that Greg N. Pearson, founding director of University Schools, an independent K-12 charter school established in 2001, whose original building is located at 6525 West 18th Street, Greeley, Colorado, be honored by naming that original building in his name. University Schools is a K-12 charter school, evolved from the University of Northern Colorado's K-12 laboratory school, whose building was named for two educators who had taught many years at the lab school. Ralph T. Bishop, an industrial arts teacher from 1919 to 1955, and Elizabeth Lair, a renowned children's reading specialist, 1926 to 1969. Thus, Bishop Lair Hall. The naming of any building gives it heart and soul, establishing an identity. Our lifetime school mascot, the Bulldogs, has always been part of the school's identity for over 100 years. Once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog, is an expression coined and often repeated by Greg Pearson. When he was a faculty member, coach, and principal at the UNC's K-12 University Laboratory School from 1977 to 1992. Greg's enthusiasm for the school and belief in his students and athletes were always contagious and inspiring. He coached the 1982 Bulldogs baseball team to a memorable state championship that the entire team continues to celebrate with him frequently at lunch or at a Rockies ballpark. After a short hiatus from the lab school, as a principal at the Air Academy High School and Inglewood High School, Greg returned to Greeley as a candidate in 2001 to become founding director of the newly established University Schools Independent Charter School. The only candidate who could have successfully advocated the transition from UNC to the new charter school identity was Greg. He appreciated the long history and deep traditions of a laboratory school, both to model bedrock fundamentals of education and yet as a laboratory that encouraged experimentation and innovations for best practices, teaching and learning. Greg provided a caring, stable environment for faculty, staff, students, and families in a time of change. He was a leader who maintained the best of a laboratory school while moving towards our present-day outstanding charter school, one of the first and longest established charter schools in Colorado. Always able to find a positive way to engage in conversation with decision makers in order to establish the right kind of balance between past and present. Greg secured our future. Greg is a connector of people. He has stayed close to his colleagues, past and present. His relationships with students have been an example of lifelong mutual admiration and respect. As a parent, he was a friend and support to the parents of our students and athletes, which made a real difference in their lives. With our advising program, which Greg helped to design, implement, and support, our school has a family-centered community was integral to our identity. Faculty, staff, students, and their families trusted Greg. He was always visible, he attended student activities, he chatted with students in the hallways, and he visited classrooms to know and understand the work of teachers and the learning of students. He was consistent and reliable, participated openly, supported genuinely, and advised with kindness and care, making a positive impact on all of us. After his retirement from university schools, he remained engaged with new directors and board members, offering support when requested. When approached to run for the Board of Governors, he agreed to continue his involvement in school. Greg's leadership and contributions have guided and influenced K-12 education throughout the state, and particularly in Greeley and Will County. He is frequently sought out by individual schools and school districts as a consultant to share his experience and expertise. The following is a list of Greg Pearson's accomplishments in educational leadership. Greg was a dedicated teacher of middle school and high school students in the area of social studies and history for over 20 years in Colorado and Oklahoma. A coach of several sports, Greg loved and excelled in as a high school baseball coach. Greg serves as an administrator of both CHSAA basketball and baseball, and so coordinates many basketball and baseball district and state tournaments in Colorado. Greg was a high school principal at 3 Colorado schools, the UNC Lab School, Air Academy High in Colorado Springs, and Inglewood High School for over 15 years. Greg became the founding director of University Schools in 2001 and retired in 2006. Greg was instrumental in helping to locate the land for the 6525 West 18th Street building and helped design the building from an educator's perspective for a K-12 school. From 2011 through 2014, along with Dave Sanchez, Dick Bond, and other community leaders, Greg helped establish and implement Salida del Sol Academy, the only school district dual language charter school in East Greeley. Greg also served for several years on their governing board. Recognized the need for a shared school governance, Greg established the University Schools Foundation to address special financial needs of the school. In the 2000s, he created a K-12 governance model that included master teacher leadership opportunities at each level, elementary, middle, and high school. Many schools and school districts across the country have consulted with Greg in order to create innovative educational programs. His expertise to guide and advise educational institutions on the creation of charter schools is widely recognized. The recognition of distinguished alumni and retired faculty to honor them at the annual homecoming event was established by Greg through the foundation to help keep our former students and faculty attached and active with the school as a transformer. Greg developed and implemented an exemplary program of career pathways in 2003 for high school students to focus on their own special interests and career possibilities. For example, engineering, science, and math, health and medical, and business. This program has continued to expand and remains viable with 7 pathways today. The following is a list of quotes from former faculty, alumni, and community leaders. Greg was the catalyst for all the good after we left UNC. I don't think Greg has ever truly retired from university schools. To this day, he is still giving back. The combination of organizational skills and foresight made Greg Pearson an exemplary educational leader. He always took time to listen to all members of the school and truly cared about everyone in the school community for adults. Greg has provided extraordinary leadership, guidance, and mentoring for generations of students, staff, faculty, and administrators for over 5 decades. More than a teacher or coach, Greg was a steady voice, a trusted guide, and a person I turned to before making big decisions. His lessons reached far beyond the classroom or the ball field. He believed in me before I believed in myself. Can you understand? I was fortunate to be teaching while Greg Pearson was principal. Because of Greg, I never considered leaving the lab school for another teaching position. Mark Anderson. Greg was the most supportive and best principal I've ever known. He has always celebrated the positive things in my classroom and guided me to reflect and grow in a kind and compassionate way, and always with a smile. Sarah Molina. It is obvious to those of us who have had the privilege to work with Greg that we are sincere and resolute in our desire to see Greg honored for all that he has given of his time, his energy, his talent, his dedication, his guidance, and his expertise to this school. Additionally, Greg, with both humor and intelligence, has generously shared his care and beliefs about the value of education with all of us. By naming the original building the Greg N. Pearson Building, we hope to officially and publicly celebrate Greg's care, guidance, and commitment to this school. If approved, our vision would be to support the Board of Governors and the University Schools Foundation to implement the naming of the main building, which has never been named for any entity or person. We are hopeful that the foundation might help with the generating of the funds for signage and other expenses through alumni, student, faculty, and staff, and community supporters. Because Greg has been instrumental in organizing homecoming events since his retirement, 2025 homecoming might be an appropriate time for an announcement of these efforts. We welcome working with you and thank you for your timely consideration of this request. Sincerely, Burr and Gail Adams, who are here tonight, Carrie Breen, Jean Littman, who's here, Christy Malnati, who's present, myself, Carol Riggs, Ray Schiller, Ken and Linda Weedle, who are present, Amanda Weedle, and Linda Witt, who's also present. So I would like to request from the board that it be moved to an action item and that we approve it at tonight's meeting so that we can honor him at
Can I just make a statement before?
Yep.
I was just going to say that the very well-written list of accomplishments that I've been really trying to put in 3 pages what Greg did. When I think of the university, I think of Greg. The years that I was here, that he really did commit a big chunk of his life almost all to education and to our school here. So I don't know if there's anyone more worthy of the naming of this building for him. I'd be happy to support this resolution, whatever it is. But I appreciate you all taking the time to put it together. It was very nice to see you all here as well. I hope I didn't worry anybody when you saw me walk in. But I think it's very thoughtful and very deserving. I need to support this, so I'm happy to support this.
Sorry, I'm jumping down. No, it's all right. I mean, I want to jump into Mr. Pearson, and now I know him.
Call to the office.
Anyway, he tried very hard to keep me from ditching class, so he was here a lot in the time we were here. I graduated in 2007, so a big chunk of me being here was Greg, and so he was very instrumental in school. I agree with KJ. There's nobody that's more worthy of to receive the honor of this building than that. And so go ahead. Anybody else wants to say?
Real quick, sure, why not? No, I fully support this, and I also, on behalf of the foundation, would like to, with our support as well, we will work to provide the funding for the signage to support this.
Let me answer that. The big talk he had gone on State Street is the building before, and they are very supportive of it, and there was no problem with them having the building.
I really like the idea of not calling this building the main building or the elementary high school building, like having a name for it and say conference room in the great so that it's more something like that. Well,
Bill, yes. Tom? Yes. Scott? Yes. Justin? Yes. Eric? Yes. Frank? Amanda?
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
John,
yeah, thank you guys.
Any comments from you guys? I was gonna say, this is the quietest I've ever seen that group. Never in all my life have I
just go
witnessed
to the Bulldog Deli after.
Okay.
okay, we will move on to item 6.4, the cafeteria temptation.
So we've got an update for you. Dennis would certainly explain this to you. You didn't read it till I could. But we weren't 6 months now, it feels like. Really trying to make sure we're being as cost effective as we can be, and also making sure we're making the room as multi-purpose as we can. So our update as of today, we're sitting at 1.216,700. That does not include the floor system, which we're still finalizing, but anticipate is going to be necessary for it to be multi-purpose space. We initially thought perhaps we just steel and concrete, but I'm working with Sharon Vance and other teams. We anticipate that it's just feasible. So the dollar amount that we're currently at for the floor is $31,200. That doesn't include permits and furniture for the construction cost. With those two together, we're going to be 2%. So I'm happy to bring you a final contract when you have it, or if you feel comfortable moving with the ballpark, that we're happy to bring you to. But that's what we're looking at, and we're about 1.2, that we're looking towards that on funds that are freed up from the last grant.
So what's the time frame between now and when you think about that, tidied up as far as a number, and then when we need to act?
I think we're really close. I think we're looking at some landscaping things, like some turn tunnels, the floor. There were only a couple things on the list, and most of them, so that's very close to where we do. We're looking to start construction on the base of the lake. That's where we have safety measures, the student groups, and the mission, and so we get everything inside and see that. So we're looking to start that.
You don't remember you'd be comfortable setting as a kind of cap that we could approve?
Yeah, like I said, those two together are 1.24700.
What's wrong with raining?
Yeah, when does it need to be approved?
I mean, it's just a week, it's just months.
Well, I think we're planning on starting, I guess, in November. So next time it's fine.
Let's get a hard number, that's what we're doing.
Like, yeah, it's not a lot.
It's a,
Right.
yeah, I got you. But rather than saying thereabouts, if we can narrow it down to a more specific number, and let's get
It
a
really
really
comes into just when they need to sign the contract to get it done by Thanksgiving.
Unless the school changes the scope, that number will not change.
Will, does that number include the floor, the change in the floor?
The 1.2479 includes the floor. It does include, as I understand from Dennis, we were still talking about landscaping perhaps.
That's correct, they're still working through that.
And that number in the current bid is $3,030. So
Yeah, we go down.
yeah, that's only down. We're not going up. There's nowhere up. We've been on the down swing for a couple months now. But next month is fine. Well, it wasn't.
Is there any time frame on the contract when it needs to be signed?
But that's not.
Generally, the subs hold their bids for 30 days. I put that out.
So then,
Check me out.
Yeah, I think if you could add that additional max number you have for the landscaping in there,
That's
and
included.
to make that then, okay, and then we
Give
just,
that number again.
The top number with everything in here currently is 1.247.
I mean, I think if we're waiting on landscaping, I think I'm comfortable at this meeting.
and the number only goes down.
Just to correct, just to clarify on that, landscaping is, that landscape is included in that, this is now.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out another way of landscaping, as far as what's required, kind of how we can consider that. But right now, this bid does continue landscaping.
So it only goes-
as the
only goes
max
down.
number.
Yes.
Is there anything else that's out there that's going to pop up?
Well, so what you're approving, again, just to be clear, what you're approving is the construction costs.
Okay.
And So the other costs associated with the project, is like all of the lights and furniture. This year, not this year. Next year doesn't implement, we've had some minor things we've had to do, taking to the kitchen. We've spent some capacity. But we're construction. And very welcome to get on
Well, I will make a motion to approve the,
Sue, I always ask, are you comfortable with this?
Sue, but you do.
I
We're
told
coming
you.
in.
She's already
We're
done
coming
it.
in.
Okay, well,
Way under.
I always want to hear from somebody who
It's gonna be probably 1.5 when it's all said and done, 1.6. But construction, this is it. You always have those electrical costs, you always find things as you do construction. That is hard. They just sound contingencies, right? So, it was fine.
so I will make a motion to approve the bid as proposed.
I will second it.
Carol. PJ. Bill. Tom. Yes. Scott. Yes. Justin.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Frank. Yes. Amanda. And Ryan.
Yes.
Great. Okay, we'll go to the next item here. It is 6.5, the superintendent's goals. Looking at the calendar, we were supposed to see them last month, and just looked at kind of strange month. Missing the board meetings, we'll see them for the first time here. They're in the packet. These are straight from the strategic plan.
I just wanted to clarify, these are only the strategic goals, and Justin's working on finalizing documents. This is just strategic goals.
So, just review these and then we kind of comes up next month.
And again, just to clarify, the numbers are the action items from the strategic plan. All of our indentations from there are all suggestions for things. But the numbers are the action items. Just to focus on
Con and Bill received the strategic plan.
it's in the board packet.
Okay, we will move on to reports from the board. Notice was offered, there's like no great time to introduce our student reps. So, Greg and Lily Connell, welcome. We're glad to have you. This is the first time we've got two student reps, so welcome, and we're happy to be here. So we're going to go ahead and start, and Carol will give an update, and then we'll come back to both of you and see how it works, and then give an update or tell us a little bit about you.
Not like that.
And then just from my standpoint, back to school night was amazing. I know there's such a huge lift to go through that. My kids were so excited. They weren't excited to start school, but after back to school match, they were really, really pumped about it. And there was a lot more excitement going into the first day of school. And I just want to give a big shout out to everybody involved with that. And then I second all of the praise to Junior Bulldogs. They put a lot of effort in, and I've seen a handful of those camps, and the turnout for the football camp was huge. Typically, it's just like a tackling football camp. This year they had girls flag football, and there was a ton of girls out there. And so it was just really cool to see just the engagement all the way around. So they're doing really well. Excited to see that.
Pull his corn into two.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not taking that story. It was fun to see him, and it just really did feel good to keep on.
Yeah, just, Bash was a lot of fun. My kids are super excited as well. First few days are going great, Mr. M, this year. All the feedback I've heard so far, you've been doing recess or lunch this year. No, it is nice, it is cool to see the excitement for them to want to go to school and to be excited when they leave. It is always fun to start up the year. Just some comments I heard when like registration fees came out. I'm not sure what the foundation response was for like the $25, but just some of the feedback I heard was when the fees went up, you had to buy school supplies, and people said that, like obviously I understood and I would explain to people what the foundation task was for, but the thing that was sent out maybe wasn't as informative or clear on what the foundation was wanting to do with the money and how that was different than the fees or the school supplies that people were buying. Again, I understood, I always tried my best to explain it, but I don't know what the response was, if it was good or just some feedback that I heard. That's it.
I was never with Bash or the things from my family, the kids, the inside. Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I forgot who said it, which has that. But I love that idea. It's a great idea.
I will, I'll echo the Junior Bulldogs camps have been great. My son and daughter participated in football day. My daughter being a first grader, she was very jazzed to be out there with the other girls. Had a great time. Wanted to do more football, so I'll take that as a witness that Ohio State Buckeye football season kicks off. Returning I'll just say with Bash, I helped with the foundation table, and there were questions as far as the QR code. Was this the same communication that went out previously? I don't know what the response was. I hope you can maybe answer some of that, Ryan. But many people acknowledge that they saw the communication previously, and they created it. So I'm hoping that funds continue to come in for the help when needed. So otherwise, I thought it was a great evening. It was nice to be inside.
I hear good things from all my kids in all schools. Things are going well. Good start to the year. It's always nice to hear. Appreciate all the hard work done over the summer to improve our school. Thank you guys who worked so hard to make this year start really well. Well, I think it was kind of a bittersweet summer for us because we did not have any university school interns in the shop for the first time in 10 years. And so we had some great District 6 students, but those doors are open. We'll have to figure out. I think they're with Adam's, the changes there. I think we'll have to figure out how to reset that up. No, it was great. Got in band camp. It was good, and things I think progressed much further this year in band camp than they ever have. And a lot of decisions were made early, so the shop was busy building all the props and stuff. They had props by the end of band camp. They had their first movement by the end of band camp. So that was a cool experience all the way around. On the joint use side, apparently we're getting carpet.
This weekend.
That was left at, we're still getting quotes last time I heard. Was involved there, so I'm glad to hear we've got carpet coming in.
I missed the last meeting.
Okay. Yeah, so, no. I think, from what I've heard, everybody, my kids are actually excited to be here. And as a parent, that's just, I don't even know what to think about that, right? So, that's been good.
Yeah, I was happy also to not have to be outside. So I felt like my legs were on fire when we were standing out there. So I'm glad they brought that in. Over the summer for football, we coach as well. We went to Black Hills and went to a camp up there, and that was a really beautiful place to bond and spend some time and experience that for me. And challenge the guys over there and start dissing them out, so that was really good. And I was excited to see that so many kids stayed behind from all levels of the football team to help coach the Cowboys out. So that was really cool to see them. They were super excited to do that. And you know, as a little kid, they have this giant high schooler there showing how to do stuff. That's
I can't believe no one's talked about the cotton candy at the back school. Because, I mean, how can you go wrong when there's cotton candy? That was pretty cool. Let's see, I don't know how many of you know in middle school we buy every student a book to read over the summer, and then we do a project with them in the fall. And so today, brand new student, like started today, and I had to bring him his book. And I said, you do not have to read this by next week when we do the project. You can just kind of start it if you want to. But I asked him how is it going? Give me the biggest smile and said it was the best day. So for somebody starting several days in, I just love to see that because I know our teachers try to do the best they can to keep them welcome. And he must have loved that way. So that warmed my heart. So.
I don't mind the heat, so I mean, I would have been outside, but I guess they put me in the gym too, keep me cooled down. But no, the batch was great. I have kids in 2 schools again now, so it's been a while since I've done much with the high school, so it's exciting to have a high schooler. We're all a little bit terrified, but that's okay. I think we're going to make it. But we're excited to see what a new school offers. So now I have a middle schooler and a high schooler. So, sorry, when I work the elementary, we're not going back. So we're kids.
Okay, well, there you go.
So there you go. As far as the foundation goes, we have had pretty decent response for things we've raised. In the last few months, we've raised about $4,800, and we have, out of that, we have about 550 of it is in recurring, and so recurring is really one of our big goals because you know that a lot of little pieces keep going, and that's going to help out a lot. Still short of what our goal is to raise the $25,000 for this year for the school, but I'm confident that we'll be able to get there. So. Word of mouth is going to be a big thing, but we'll also start diving into some more campaigns, some more fundraising campaigns, and some other things throughout the year. Also, with the foundation, we are working to kind of pull together all sort of the fundraising arms of the school. Boosters, USPTO, Junior Bulldogs, Foundation, just getting everybody together so that we can do some joint effort as well, so we can raise funds as well. With each other, everybody's individual partners as well. So. But yeah, we're excited about, we're kind of heading in the right direction. But we're going to keep going. I appreciate the feedback as far as how some of that was going with just seeing all the different fees and stuff. But we're working with David a little bit to kind of figure out campaigning and how it's going to so.
Is there a golf tournament this year?
We weren't able to put the golf tournament together. We are going to try to do a spring golf tournament this year. The group of people that wanted to put it together wanted to try to push it off to the spring, so we're going to do a mid-late spring golf tournament, and then we're going to try to shoot for this spring.
So I'm Lily Bonner. I'm a junior. In a lot of different clubs, like FCA, NHS, Triad, which is the Music Honor Society. I'm also in cross country, which explains my story. Track and speed. In the first few days, we'll have to go pretty good. I think everyone's just like adjusting to all their classes, all their teachers, just trying to get all their schedules fixed right. But so far, I've been trying.
Yes. I'm Ashton Craig. I'm a sophomore. I'm also in a lot of things, also cross country. Basketball, track, speech and debate, Stuco, FCA, FBLA, and the list goes on, but don't want to bore you. The first couple of days, nothing to complain about so far. all good things. The back to school bash was lots of fun. Roamed around with my friends, got some free food, which was awesome. You know, complain about food. Then, yeah, free food, especially free food. The band room has definitely been quieter. I don't hear it as much in German anymore, which is definitely a win. Yeah, nothing to complain about.
Welcome, we're happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
Have students started reaching out to you with anything for us, or how are those communications going, or?
I've asked people a little bit if they've had any issues so far, or if there's just straight up anything they needed to complain about. And everyone's been like super happy, or not too much. We'll also take it home.
Nobody's asked you to add them to the back to school bonus?
Yeah, same here. Just reaching out to people, asking them if they have anything. Nothing so far. So. No compliments here.
Okay, our next meeting is September 10th at 6 p.m. in same room. And that is the last item, so I will. Can you get a second?
I'll second that.
Brian's Eric. All in favor?